watch that stream?
Let's get emotional, I guess.
Let's get emotional, I guess. Hello.
Pajamas
For
and
those of you that
suits.
have played this game before, you'll know what's coming. But
what's the
where
elephant
did
in
we
the
leave
room?
off? We were having. Well, I know what the elephant in our room is,
Yeah.
but I've forgotten what their elephant is. We left off and they were
I don't
having
know.
like a welcome home party.
Maybe the elephant in the room for them is that they banged.
That's yeah.
That's a pretty big elephant.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme.
Did Akira not already suss that out? Did we not have?
Yeah, I think she did. Yeah.
It's been exactly 2 weeks. I don't remember a thing.
So.
Lilly dutifully puts her cup down, giving her sister undivided attention. With Lilly and me on one side of the low table, and Akira at the other, this almost feels like a judge passing down a verdict.
I pronounce you
Judge Akira
guilty of fucking.
You boys are fucking, and you're gonna go to jail.
You two are going out now.
I glance sideways at Lilly to confirm her as the source of Akira's knowledge. She gives a gentle nod to Akira, which I mirror in affirmation. Deciding that this is the proper time and place to do so, and Akira being the closest figure to a parent Lily's had for much of her life, I bow deeply with my hands on the floor before me and my head very nearly the same.
Oh, he did one of those, he did the proper, like, Japanese, like, I can't remember what it's called. Rachel, what's it called? Rachel!
And now it's time for the real McCoy with Rachel Rutherford.
What's it called when Japanese men do something really shameful and then they have to apologize? It's got a name. Dogeza. Yeah, it's called a dogeza. It's basically you kneel down. It's not necessarily just men. It's anybody. But Editor Julian can put a picture of a dogeza right here. Yeah, that's basically what it looks like. You always see people do it in anime
when they're in like deep shame or whatever.
Yeah.
Start
they'll like
praying to Allah.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. I just mean in terms of the posture.
Yeah, in terms of the posture, yeah. It's kind of it's very similar. It's sort of like hunched, bowed, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll take good care of your sister, Akira. I promise you.
See? He's a lovely young gentleman.
She must have heard my voice coming from a lower position than usual, so she's like, oh fuck, he's like groveling. she's sitting there like, this fucking guy. I slowly bring myself back. Yeah. I slowly bring myself back up, my eyes tentatively looking to Akira from under my brow. To tell the truth, I very much doubt my suited judge will raise any objections. She's very definitely the type to make her disapproval with others well known, something that lends her a measure of respect in my eyes.
Do you think there's going to be a scene later on where we're just in a room with our mad uncles? Rob.
I can't hear a word this wee boy's saying. Get the karaoke mic.
Why would you take my daughter to a rom-com?
The beast, the sex beast. Your daughters are ours now. Yeah. Yes.
Such a. Anyway, the old-fashioned kind. Well, he's the kind of person I guess you'd go for. For the international viewers, watch Burniston.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good kind of. It's just excellent Scottish
Very
humor.
funny.
It's very funny.
If you've watched Outlander and think you know about Scottish culture, then you should then go and watch Limmy's show and Burniston, and that'll give you a better idea of Scottish culture.
You've probably watched Limmy on Twitch, you know, like.
Oh yeah,
like perfect example. And then after that, watch his show and watch Burniston. You can find it all on YouTube. It's amazing.
Some of it's on Netflix too.
Yeah. Well, it depends if you're in in UK or in Americas, but if you've got a VPN, you can probably
Of course.
change all that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it, and I wish you two the best. Even if I didn't like it, I couldn't really do anything anyway. Could you? You probably could. You could probably say, like, you know, Hisau's an asshole. Don't like him.
Sure.
That'd be something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I had to do that with
Well,
my sister a couple of times. You know?
Only a couple.
Yeah, well, once, really. Where I was like,
No, it's fair enough.
yeah.
Was this with, no, you know what?
We
no
won't-
names.
we
I
won't
offer a
say.
nod of appreciation to her as Lily gives a small sigh of relief, likely more out of duty than any actual belief Akira might have. Fuck, sorry, boys, I'm not reading that. Likely more out of duty than any actual belief Akira might have had any problems with us being together. No wonder I had trouble
I
with
do
that.
wonder, though, how's the rest of the family taken it, particularly the part residing at Yamaku? I told her.
See, no mad uncles, but there's a mad cousin. You know?
Yeah.
Smiles turn to grimaces. Smiles turn to grimaces as Akira grins downright evilly. Those
Misha-
closest know how to twist the knife best after
Misha's
all.
just like, get the spoons!
But He-chan, why would you take her to a sex romp?
Romp!
Romp! He's just frantically signing romp in the corner.
She's in his fucking rolling up her short sleeves like, ah!
She's got the handcuffs out. Right.
Putting up with it may be the best term for the situation. Don't you agree, Hisao?
Yeah, that sounds about right. At least she's being reasonable about it.
Good to hear. That girl can be a handful at the best of times. Yeah.
You don't say.
We sent a few messages back and forth during and just after the trip, and she was already busting my chops for seeing my boyfriend when we came back after leaving Hideaki for so long. I can't read either, so don't worry about it. There's just something in the air today. So she really does care for the little guy.
That's not... I don't know if that's true. Like, you know... What do you mean she was getting pissed that you'd left her brother alone? Why she not look at... She's at school, to be fair. But still,
Yeah.
you know, someone else could look after the bloody brother.
And he must
Not
have
hard, he's
friends.
mental. I don't know, look at him. Does he look like he has friends? Editor Julian might have to help us for reference here. You know, a wee photograph of Hideaki just to prove that maybe he doesn't have friends. I cast my mind back to Shizune's odd reaction after telling her about our relationship, but decide not to bring it up. It's no doubt simply born of their mutual antipathy, and Akira's comments only back that up.
Well then, that's settled. Gotta get back to work early tomorrow, so I'd better be off.
Akira's like fucking Spider-Man. She just appears and then like says some weird things and fucks off again.
Yeah.
Like, makes a couple of jokes and then it's just
Yeah.
like, see ya. She rises from the table with a grunt, her hand on her knee to push herself up. I just notice Akira's eyes lingering on Lily for a couple of seconds before turning away as she begins to take her leave. After she walks out of the door, she stops and looks up thoughtfully before turning to us one last time.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot to tell you.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Yes. Thank you, Akira. Thank you.
We've
Thank
got
you
some
for
bad
telling
news
them.
for you though, Akira, because certainly the first couple of times they did not.
Yeah, let's hope they were lucky. Nothing.
Oh man, very lucky.
Yeah. I'm
yes.
sorry. This is
Very
just
important.
very, very important. Just use it.
Yeah. I gag violently on the tea in my mouth. Contrary to my own, Lily's composure holds perfectly as she seems entirely unfazed. I'm kind of impressed. So he's sitting there like, oh my god, why would you be talking about your sister having sex? And Lily's like, no, yeah, that's a very good point. You should always be using protection.
Maybe
She's
it's
sensible.
maybe it's just a sister thing. I feel
Maybe
like
it's just a sister thing.
yeah. We are. Don't worry. Don't lie.
Are we? Maybe she is, without telling us.
Maybe.
Maybe she's on the pill, for example.
The girl. See yous.
See ya.
Swings
And with
away,
that,
fucking...
Turns and strides away. A hand held high, she disappears into the darkened hallway, closing the door behind her. That's always such like a cool guy move, though. Like, you've seen Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah. I've read it.
Yeah, Ed's always doing that. Ed's constantly just walking away, just like slapping his hand in the air, just like, yeah, see ya.
Yeah, man.
It's a cool guy move.
Yeah.
The most reaction I can muster is... I fucking love that shit. The most reaction I can muster is flopping forwards onto the table. Completely drained of energy and truly exhausted by her. Lilly's ability to hold her own against that suited devil is something I admire. She really is incredibly blunt. I don't think I'll ever be able to keep up with your sister's energy. Sister's energy? Sorry, I had to burp.
That's alright. Burp.
As I feel
it
Lily's
adds to the character.
I did burp, but not while I was reading my lines, because I'm a professional. As I feel Lily's soft hand come to rest of my own, I roll my head to the side to see her gently smiling. For a long time, we simply sit beside each other silently. I couldn't not laugh when I said I was a professional, but, you know. Given her unquestionably unusual height, she is pretty much exactly as tall as I am. Probably a couple of centimeters higher, if anything. Like this, she appears even taller.
So, is this a controversial opinion? I feel it is for guys, because I feel like your average male is always like, oh, I need to date somebody who's smaller than me. Do you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. It works. I'd say it works both ways. Like, my experience with various dating apps, a lot of them are like, if you're under 5'9", swipe whichever way or whatever. Like, looking for a guy who's 6'4", and it's like, wow, good luck. Not me. You know? And then also, on the other hand, as you say, a lot of guys are like, I don't really want to date a lassie who's taller than me or like the same height as me. And as a result, a lot of girls put in their bios or whatever, like, oh, I'm 5'9". If that's a problem, you're going to have to swipe the other way, sort of thing, you know?
It's just dumb, man. I don't get it.
It is a bit dumb.
Because I dated somebody very briefly who was very, very much shorter than me. And it was just awkward. I felt like I was holding a child, without sounding weird, it felt like I was holding a child's hand. It just felt
She did
weird.
have really small hands, though.
Yeah, but it just felt strange. You know?
Well, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Whereas Rachel is like how
you guys are
Rachel?
almost
She's
pretty
like,
much the same
she's
height.
She's like 5'9", 5'10", yeah. She's like 5'10", I'm 5'11". And just kind of works. I don't have to hunch over to kiss her or
like
anything.
I always say, we're all the same height lying down.
Are we all?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we're all lying at the same point, kind of thing, you know? I mean, I'm not suggesting that people have sex and, like, line up their feet and be like, are we the same height? No.
I'm sorry, man.
That'd be weird.
It's just not gonna work. The small people need to go with the small people, and the tall people need to go with the tall people. You know?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make that the new racism.
What, heightism? Short people got no reason.
Randy Newman hates short people.
No, he was writing I read a little bit about it more. He was just writing a character who was just insane. It's just supposed to be a funny song.
Well, he succeeded because it's pretty damn funny.
It is pretty damn funny.
The feeling of her pale, soft hand against mine is a pleasant one, as is the sight of the thin silken pajamas she wears, showing her curves and collarbone.
Fuck yeah!
It does.
You do get on well, though, even if you do say that. Oh, that's true.
I guess. You know, you two are a lot more alike than I first thought when I met you.
Snarky, yeah. They
Not
are quite...
necessarily.
Well, no, I mean, like, in a good way. In, like, a funny way. Not in, like, an annoying kind of a way. Anyway. Then it's a good thing I quickly stopped you from going after her, isn't it?
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Though she jokes about it, my assessment of my inability to keep up with Akira, either physically or mentally, was quite in earnest. Lily's slow-paced and ladylike, almost motherly. nature is perhaps the single thing that helped me most in my... Oh, fuck, I read that wrong. Lily's slow-paced and ladylike, almost motherly nature is perhaps the single thing that helped me most in my first weeks at Yamaku.
Yeah.
Come to think of it. Wait, since when were we using protection? That is a bad sign. As I give a curious look to my side, Lily's cheeks puff out as she huffs at me.
Oh, unlike you, I remembered the packet is in the cupboard next to the sink.
Yeah, hisso. So, I'm not the only one of us that takes a pill. In hindsight, I feel rather thoughtless for not remembering at all and leaving it to Lily. That is very thoughtless. But at least you know it's thoughtless. Looking over to the cupboard she mentions, I notice again the knee-high piles of books around us that were here the other times I'd visited. For the most part, they're lined up against the wall to give a little more room around the table. Why don't you get a bookshelf for your books? It's odd to see books just piled around. Especially given that your room looks so neat and orderly otherwise.
You fucking peasant! They're easier to find this way. I know exactly which pile each book is in.
Ah, so there is a system. Wouldn't you still know that after putting each set on a different shelf?
That may be, but I like piles.
Oh, she's not immune to bouts of laziness after all. You have so many of them. It's kind of a shame we can't share our book sets, despite both of us reading so much.
Oh.
She gives a short giggle.
You could read aloud.
Audiobooks. Yeah.
Or audiobooks. Yeah.
Yeah. Come to think of it, why do you order your books through Yuko? I imagine there'd be plenty of sites that you could order books in Braille from, especially in English Braille. There are a lot of text-to-speech programs too. She turns her head slightly away from me, which strikes me as somewhat surprising.
I'm just not at all that good with computers. I'm alright with typewriters and braillers, but that's about it. But yeah, it makes sense. If she can't actually see at all, and let's be real, a computer is very much, like if she has zero vision, like nothing, then a computer is mostly visual, so you're going to struggle. Yeah.
And even if you've got the touch typing down, like, there's no guarantees.
Yeah.
Her tone almost makes me chuckle. She's a prideful person, so admitting something like that must be difficult.
I mean, none of us are Brian, so we're just kind of, like, speculating here.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So, Lily's the low-tech kind of person. Given her old-fashioned personality, it's not really a stunning surprise. Oh, maybe she just doesn't like computers.
She's just a straight up Luddite. Just runs into an Apple store just with a baseball bat, just like ah!
Yeah.
Just destroys everything.
Probably for the best. I mean, hell, I'd join her. Fuck Apple.
She's into anarcho-primitivism.
Yes, good. Let's go back to a feudal Marxist society. I wouldn't worry about it. A lot of people aren't really that good with them, so it's not that unusual. Yeah, my dad, for example, not that good with computers.
That's unusual.
Now she sounds even more depressed. It feels like I'm twisting the knife rather than healing her wounds. With a bit of squirming, I shuffle my way closer to her, tentatively putting one hand around her waist to hug her. I'm still not really used to this kind of physical affection, but Lily seems to like it.
Oh.
Kissy time.
It's okay. This is PG-13. We can leave this.
We can have a kiss. We can have a kiss.
Yeah, it's okay. This isn't like 1920s America.
We can maybe put
no drinking, no smoking, no nothing.
We could put Merv Van Gogh like under their chins, just for fun. Lily smiles as she turns to face me, a kiss being the reward for giving in to her. She draws me in, brushing my upper lip with hers before pressing against both. Very in-depth way to describe a kiss. This way, every one of my senses is filled with her. The barely perceptible scent of her hair, her taste as her tongue fleetingly touches mine, the tenderness of her lips, the image of her filling my mind, the total silence apart from her faint breath. Yeah, it's a magical moment.
Yeah.
I was already sweating, but I'm now sweating. We may have kissed before, but even if this is more of a kiss of simple affection than anything, it's still a new and pleasant sensation.
Well done, whoever wrote this part. This is actually
Well done.
It's pretty nice writing.
Yes. Very, very descriptive, very colourful. I believe it was like a whole team, like various different people took different bits. You can kind of tell sometimes, like there's little phrases and little like sometimes like the ways that some of the sentences are structured. Like you can tell that the same person. I mean, not that I know who they are, but you can tell that the same person wrote like the same bits, sort of thing. Judging from her vivid blush as she pulls back, it's obvious she feels the same way as I do. Even if we're entirely alone, it still feels a little embarrassing to open up to each other this much.
If we take everything day by day, I think that would be for the best. Small steps, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah! Just small steps. We have plenty of time to be together, even after the school year's over. As long as we move together, I think everything will work out okay. Neither of us is going anywhere soon, after all.
Exactly.
For now, I'm just thankful for this small moment in time we can spend together.
Are you telling me she fucks off, and then we never see her again?
I ain't telling you nothing.
Alright.
But all I can say is that we've played our cards right, so everything's going to be fine.
Hell yeah.
We made all the right decisions. Everything's going to be fine.
I mean, and most of them were gut decisions, and then I was just checking with you for confirmation.
That's for the best, usually. Your gut was right about 80% of the time.
That's pretty good. Yeah, except from that one time where I was just like, go hard, go home.
Oh yeah, but that's an easy one that's an easy trap to fall into. Because you're like, yeah man, I've been having a great time here at Yamaku, I can totally push myself, and then before you know it, you're doing anal in the equipment shed. I stand unmoving in front of the door to the nurse's office for what feels like at least a dozen minutes or so. It's not like I had never entered the small beige room before, nor is it because of any feeling of childlike anxiety over the visit. Maybe it's because the nurse's office is akin to a confessional, an admission that my body is flawed. The knowledge that such a fact is kept entirely confidential between the nurse and me hardly lessens the feeling. Remembering that the bell to signal the end of lunch break will sound soon, I give a sigh and open the door. The burden will stay with me just this while longer. Well, if it isn't Nakai, good to see you. Or bad, I guess, considering that I'm a nurse. He gives a small laugh, amused at his little joke. I find his humour lacking and somewhat off, but the fact that he can make light of such a situation is perhaps comforting, or at least distracting. His brief episode of entertainment over, he claps his hands together and gets down to business. I take a seat as he gestures for me to do so. I wish the classrooms had seats this comfortable. I can feel my mind wandering as my eyes quickly scan the room, distracted by all the small changes since I last came. Alrighty, so what brings you here? I haven't seen you often, so I assume your health's been good so far? Well, mostly. I see. His smile drops as I trail off. I feel slightly guilty about it. It's these moments where I can't rationally call myself normal that makes me so reluctant to see the nurse. They're an admission that I'm different from everyone else.
Oh.
Everybody's different, Hisao.
Yeah, man.
While I was on a trip... Oh, sorry.
No, keep going. It's fine.
While I was on a trip during the long weekend, I had a few problems with my heart. What were you going to say, Julian?
I was just going to say, like, the world would be really, really boring if we were all exactly the same.
Yeah, there's an episode about Fairly Odd Parents that says exactly that.
Yeah.
And even when everyone is just a grey blob, they somehow find a way to still be racist or whatever. I think that was the point of the episode. I don't know. He hums very seriously and nods as he does so, urging me to go on. I think it was... Yeah, it was as I was walking a fairly long distance. I think the right term for it is a heart flutter. I suddenly went weak at the knees and felt almost like I was having a small heart attack, but it passed in about half a minute. Even afterward, though, I felt pretty fatigued and nauseous. Not good. Not good at all. That was how many days ago exactly? Did you do anything unusual, aside from exerting yourself, before the episode? Were you taking your medication properly? The nurse switches from awkward jokester to serious health professional mode, rattling off questions, making notes, and calling stuff up on his computer. I tell him about forgetting to take my pills that morning and the preceding evening. It was a stupid thing to do, but I can't change anything about it now, except answer honestly and bite the bullet. Yeah. His seriousness evolves into a frown, and the talk evolves into an instant checkup. He's not happy. I finish buttoning up my shirt and again get motioned to take a seat in front of the nurse. Is this the first heart problem you've had since coming to Yamaku? I've had short pains in my chest before, just a couple of times, but they were more discomfort than anything like this.
Yeah.
He leans back in his chair, briefly resembling a white-coated Poirot as he mulls over the mysterious case of the heart flutter.
Ah, the person who wrote this was a man of culture. Man. A person of culture.
A person of culture, I see.
Yes.
Yes, the art, she stops when you put on too much strain. Moving his lips from side to side to show he's thinking, his non-existent mustache wiggling, he eventually comes to a conclusion. Well, you survived it. That's always on the plus side. That's encouraging. I blink at this one, then notice the nurse wearing his gotcha face. Gotcha! You just got punked. It's actually somewhat reassuring. I don't think he would crack jokes if things were really serious, so I keep silent and take my lumps. I'll have a talk with your doctor, but right now I suspect it's simply due to physical exertion. Have you been keeping up with regular light exercise like I directed you to? You know it. I make sure to walk a reasonable amount every day. It's usually enough to work up a bit of a sweat. But then again, I'm not really as fit as I used to be.
And man, walking is like 10 times better than running. It's something that I discovered. Running's just shit.
Running sucks.
It just sucks. But going for, and I'm not talking like a fucking super light stroll. You know what I mean?
No.
And I'm not talking like fucking Olympic speed walking. You know, like what one of our music teachers used to do everywhere.
Yeah, he did.
It's ridiculous. At that point, I was just like, you might as well run, mate. Like, you're walking that fast. By that point,
well, he was in the corridors, to be fair, so he couldn't really run.
No. But yeah, walking's awesome. Just put a wee audiobook on or a podcast or whatever, and you just sort of get lost. Even. Some tunes, if you don't like listen. I don't know if it's an age thing. I think I'm just more into podcasts now. And talking about podcasts, we've already, I've already wasted that time talking about it's next episode time.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, man. I spend it talking about walking.
What's that got to do with podcasts?
I don't. That has nothing to do with podcasts.
All right. Well, if you want to hear more not podcasts, be sure to tune in to the next episode of Katawa Shoujo.
If you'd like us to do a podcast, let us know.
Oh, here, I've been thinking about us doing a podcast, in fact. So if that's something, if you would listen to us talk about a topic, then yeah, let us know. And in the meantime, you can feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can leave a comment about what podcast you'd like us to do. I think Rachel's sneezing in the background.
Yes,
God bless you, Rachel. And what else? Oh, we're on social media, of course, at Part-Timers Gaming. We're on Facebook, but we don't really use it. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Part-Timers, we do this part-time. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe.